it's a BSing. So pretty much at this point in time, we can say we're level 1.
I just like BSing because then at the 15-second mark, that's where the music like starts.
He likes to have this like little bit of
banter. And now we're doing the thing.
Alright, welcome back to the Nub Podcast. This is episode 8, I guess?
9?
12?
9?
No, I mean, or is that how many people were listening? 8? 9?
9?
12? So, actually, today we're doing a special one. We actually have some ladies in the house today.
Woo!
Yeah, some ladies. We're going to talk to some female nubs about basically being nerd, females in the nerd community, as it were. And all the excitement that they have to deal with when,
dealing with guys in the nerd community.
Dicks out for everything. I mean,
yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
So I guess my first question will be, it's obviously there's going to be controversy to it, but so when you're interacting with guys in whatever it is that you do, well, actually, let's go around. Let's introduce ourselves first, and like what it is that you actually, what your big nerdy thing is, or what nerdy things you do. Okay.
My name is Felton, and I like to party.
My name is Merce, and I'm a drug addict. I mean, a gameaholic.
My name is Elise, and I stay indoors and play video games.
Safe.
I'm Tiffany, and I like board gaming, Star Trek, and data. So I'm a big numbers person.
Good. I'm Laura, and I live in the Xbox world.
All right, so obviously, well, I can't even say this anymore because I think I saw a study. I think we talked about this a while back, where I saw a study that said, as far as female gamers at least concerned, there's actually a higher number now of female gamers than there are of male gamers.
Yes.
I don't know if that takes into account like the
type of games
and things like that. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know if it takes into account
Facebook
that,
games. It's just saying games.
But even then, I talk to a lot of women now that are getting more into nerd culture, in some way or fashion, whether it be through the movies or the comics and things like that. So obviously, when you go into a culture that was for a long time dominated by males, there's a lot of
all of them.
Yeah,
The media seems to be changing just slightly so that the females are also captured in their audience.
Yes, but like for me, I look at comic books as one of the big ones for me. Okay. Comic books for the longest time were very sexist, as far as like the female heroines always had big breasts, barely wearing any clothes, and it kind of made a stereotype for the male nerds. I think that may have made a lot of male nerds growing up inappropriate because they already were having trouble interacting with females and things like that, and now here you are. You've got these sexualized images as your female role models in your nerd community. So basically, what I'm getting at is, how do you feel? I don't even know how to word this. Like your interactions with males in your nerddom. Like give me some of the ways that you deal with that. Like the males. Like how do they treat you?
Well, I think they think that would go on a Dragon Con and Mega Con. They treat me differently just because I am next to a male. Mm-hmm. And so they're more respectful, I think, because they already see that I'm next to a male. Mm-hmm. But there have been some weird people that I'm not even cosplayed, and they are like, "Can I take a photo of you?" And I'm like, "I'm in regular clothes, dude." No.
To be fair, you do dress in adorable outfits, though.
No, I don't. You
dressed in adorable outfits.
That's an opinion, I suppose.
Yeah.
And the argument begins now. It goes back to that. It was your fault. You shouldn't be wearing that outfit. It was too adorable. Sorry.
He took a picture of you. It was too cute.
Well, okay.
Now you have your own clothesline.
Tiffany, like you are big into the board games.
Yes.
And board games are really still like maybe it's just from my personal experience, but it seems like board games are still very much dominated by the male community.
I would agree. Yeah.
I mean, it's still very male-dominated area, especially the more intricate board games or the
strategic and war-based. Yeah,
exactly. So, what are your experiences in that?
I've had a really wide range of experiences. A lot of times, especially if I go to a place where if I go to a shop where I know the store owner, I go to get your fun on, and they're great there. I've never had any issues, and any time that I if I had an issue, I know I could speak up and say something and I would be protected.
Well, Mark and Juan are just fantastic.
They are.
They've made it comfortable, like almost a family setting
Yes.
for any gamer that comes in there. They've made everybody feel comfortable and welcome, no matter what kind of gaming you like to do. And they're very proactive if there is an issue, I've noticed.
Yes,
So.
yeah, they are. Once I posted about a bad experience I had on Facebook, and Mark immediately contacted me and said, was it at my shop? Who was it? I want to talk. Unfortunately, it wasn't at his shop, so it was never resolved. But I found that I wasn't, their schedule wasn't meeting my schedule, so I went to another random board game night in the area, and which several of my friends warned me not to do, because I'm, a woman going out at night by myself and going into this place with a bunch of guys I don't know, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be fine, my board game guys aren't like that. Even if I don't know them, I usually assume the best. And I had a horrible time. I went, and there was a gentleman that approached the table and observed the game and asked some questions, as people often do, and we just made conversation about the game. And then I noticed his shirt. I recognized the university of his shirt, and so I asked him about it, and we started talking, and then I thought nothing else of it, and he walked away. And 10 minutes later, I noticed there was a big group of guys in a circle. Everyone was like, what are you, fucking having a circle jerk? And they're like looking at me and whispering and looking at me and whispering, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore them and keep playing my game, do my thing. And then they realized I could hear them, and made a comment about how a guy actually turned around and asked me if I was there because I was a cougar. Or not a cougar, I'm sorry. If I was a reverse cougar.
I was going to say, you're awfully young.
No, I would be the worst cougar in the world. Yeah. Yes, I need 4-year-olds.
Like, as you say, hanging outside elementary school. Oh my gosh, she's going to be on the same list as the guy that is the creepy clown that drives the ice cream truck.
Hey, don't talk shit about my creepy clown ice truck driver.
I need to go
ice truck driver? Ice cream truck driver.
That guy's also bad.
Yeah.
But it was awful, because I was just trying to play some games and hang out and make some new friends, and they're wondering what my intentions are. Am I there to meet a guy? Am I there because I want to meet a rich guy? I'm sorry, you're not going to meet rich men playing board games. If I'm trying to be a gold digger, it's not going to be there.
Not at the actual store, probably.
Right. So, and it was frustrating. It's like, oh, just because, I have tits and I'm here, you automatically think that I'm here for a dude. And you know what? I can beat your ass at any game. So you can, stop.
I can attest to that.
I've gone into some of the shops and just kind of had that whoosh,
Yes.
they are analyzing
Attention.
everything you are looking at.
We're not going to
And they're like, she's not going to buy any magic cards. I know that. Like, it's just like that attitude, like, get out of my store already. And I just walked in.
We're not going to name those stores, but there is a store that when I was married, me and my wife went into, and it was a really uncomfortable situation. Like, the store was dirty to begin with, and we were looking for pieces for playing Dungeons and Dragons, and, like, I swear to God, like, not to get too morbid, I just felt like every guy was in there eye fucking her, and it was just really uncomfortable, because there's only guys in the store, and it was dark and it was gloomy, and I was like,
it's like
even I got uncomfortable, because I thought maybe
they see us as a female and don't think we want to have fun.
Exactly.
We want to play games too.
Well, I thought I was getting splash damage from this eye fucking too. Like,
Like a tonal effect.
Yeah. Plus 13.
Right?
I got some of this eye on me. Now, Laura. Now, you told me a very interesting story that I really was hoping that you would share with us today.
Well, you have the best thing, because I'm anonymous, because you can't see me.
Mm-hmm.
And it either starts out with, you're in the game and you'll start raging at somebody for doing something stupid, and they'll be like, is that a girl?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a 13-year-old boy? And I'm like, yes, I'm a 13-year-old boy. You sound like a 13-year-old gay boy. I am. Can we go to a private chat, please? And you're having fun with them because they're being too stupid for words. But my favorite was being at a party with a friend, and we were just sitting there, talking while we're playing our own games. And a friend of his comes in, and immediately, there's a girl. Hi, pretty girl. And I'm like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I have 3 teeth, I've got, no hair, and I've got a chicken stuck under my breast for a week. I just can't reach around and get it.
So
my back breast. I'm sorry.
It's so crazy to me. When I used to play WoW, and I'd get in, TeamSpeak event, and then so I was married to our guild raid leader for a while, so I was organizing healers, and I'd get on vent, and I'd be like, okay, group 1 and 2, I need you to go here, group 2, and I'd be like, oh my God, you're a girl. And it's like, you don't have a fucking clue what I look like.
Oh, yeah, they don't
Why?
care.
Like, what are you, I could be a total troll. You have no idea.
Oh, yeah.
or a guy with a really sexy voice.
Or Fabio.
Oh,
You could look like Fabio
That's
and
true.
have a
I have
very
the longest
feminine voice.
blonde hair.
Yes.
I mean,
I mean,
can't believe
I've
it's
gone
not
into
butter.
like
I
you know
can't.
hanging out with
Can't believe it's
friends,
not
and
garlic
they were all playing Halo. They never expected me to want to turn.
So, yeah.
It just was not an option. That
Doesn't cross their mind.
for me to,
See, I've
to
been
be
a COD
able
girl
to
for
have
years.
a turn.
Like 6-7 years I've been a COD girl. I
Yeah.
mean, it's craziness, the things that you go through.
Yeah.
It's like right now, of course, I don't know what Microsoft's problem is. Their in-game language and speech and hearing is retarded. And they need to kind of refab that instead of putting out a new game, but that's
Yeah.
that's something else completely. But anyway, so this guy's
It's
in the
okay to get on
party.
tangents here
I
because
know.
that's what we do anyway. So feel
I
free.
know this guy is in the room, and all of a sudden I get this message. And of course, when things pop up, it says you have a message from whoever, and I'm like, okay, well I'm in the middle of something, and I'm sorry, your message is not important enough for me to take a shot to the head. I'm too busy trying to kill the guy with the bomb. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
A little busy. So anyway, I turn around and I finally open it, and I'm like, candlestick pick? I don't even know you.
Yeah.
You're sending me candlesticks. Come.
It wasn't
It's
even
not
a rocket
pretty
ship?
candlestick. It's an ugly, like ultra white. Oh,
What is up with that?
I don't know. They think if they show you, look, I got my penis hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a legit
Yeah.
wiener.
It was a
You
legit.
can you can send
yeah.
photos over Xbox.
Hold on, did you think it was an actual candlestick?
No, I thought you were describing like he drew in text a little rocket
no,
ship penis.
No.
I'm like,
you
oh
have
God,
this
you're
thing
so
called
old.
The Connect.
I just don't know why they think
video chat.
Oh my
with
they're
them.
like the most attractive part of my
Yes.
body is the
Do
most
they, I don't
ugliest
think
thing.
they understand that women aren't visual as they are. Like,
Yeah.
I see her tits, not gonna lie. I'm like, I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones lately. I'm like, shit, yeah. Don't send me a picture of your dick. I'm never gonna be like, oh, damn.
They need to start putting
Well,
more
hold
dicks
on.
in movies so I can be like, oh, that's a pretty dick. Oh,
Hold
that,
on, the
you
problem
know?
is that the guys aren't taking the time to really decorate the dick. Like, honestly.
I know. It didn't even trim for me.
No, like-
I was like,
No, that's the worst
Hold on.
part.
whoa.
Is you're gonna bring me this candlestick with a Ferber.
Yeah.
Let me ask you
They're
this,
not
like,
even,
if they,
they're just like,
if they
Yeah,
took
quick
if they
snap.
took the time to maybe like make a little costume for it, like maybe give it
oh
like
my
a wig,
gosh, right?
like tell a little
Now-
story.
Wait, like
maybe get
Renaissance-y?
lighting.
Like, I
Yeah.
could...
Well, I was thinking like maybe a Gandalf, like maybe even,
Right.
maybe
If
even,
it had a
maybe even,
Zelda
like, the whole,
sword and shield,
Yes.
I'd be like, oh my god, that's
Or-
horrible. With
or
a
maybe
hat.
like the whole, maybe do the whole Fellowship of the Ring and like use Photoshop to kind of superimpose.
series.
each image into
Yeah.
the other,
Yes.
like-
So I have a prediction.
Yes.
That after this podcast goes live, Michael's stock is going to
Yes.
skyrocket because
Well, we already brought on the clown apocalypse. so-
apparently now we're going to bring on the dick costumes,
Yes.
and then Anthony Weiner
We're just
will finally be
asking for
validated.
some effort instead of
Right.
no class, you know? There's just no class
At
and
least
just
put a
rudeness.
little. I get that. As a matter of fact, when I go home today, I'm making little costumes.
Wait, little costumes?
Very little costumes. I'm not ashamed to say it. Extremely little costumes. With a lot of effort, though. I'm gonna make I put a lot of design.
That's
in
what
this, like-
matters.
Like a lot of
Yeah.
very fine stitch
This
work.
is gonna
My tiny-
spark a whole new genre of mech outfits for penises. Like,
We just created
this is a
whole
1,000-hour build.
It's gonna be a whole new cosplay experience now. Like when I go to MegaCon, I'm gonna have a little box with me.
Honestly, that is
Love
something
it.
that I would not mind looking at because that is creative. But if you're just going to send me a dick, it's like, okay.
So for the 5 people listening to this podcast,
Dick costumes are a go.
yes.
We will take that.
We need like
So
a
of
general
course-
email address for them to send those to.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely.
And now you said they did this over the Kinect, correct?
Yes, he uses Connect, which you use for video chat,
Yeah.
and you can use for pictures and stuff like that. So he, I don't know if he got up to his,
Just walked up to
camera
the
and was like,
entertainment center.
I'm just seeing it.
Mom, don't come in here!
I'm sending a picture to my friend.
Well, the best part is the Kinect follows you, so he could have just like walked around it a little bit, like just kind of like, and it just followed him a little bit around the
But
room.
the worst
like,
part was it was simply of the candlestick. It was just
Yeah.
So he had to get like right up into there,
Yeah.
he just laid it on on the dual camera.
That thing
I
can
was
render
like, oh my
3D
God.
pictures.
Yeah, well, apparently it can see ghosts and shit too. If you saw that paranormal movie, apparently you can predict ghosts. Maybe you did. Maybe it was actually a ghost pic. Did you ever think? Maybe you got ghost dick pic. Like you didn't even think about that, did you? It might not have been.
I didn't. Until the point where he said, "Hey, did you get my picture?"
Oh.
And I was like, "So we're going over here now." And I tried to, kind of
just
move
ignore
away
it.
from it because it's like, I'm really not
But you
trying
see,
to
that's
have
the
a moment.
problem.
You can actually hear the heavy breathing. Then no, hold on. Wait a minute. Did you get my picture though?
The picture.
I put a lot of effort into that.
I had to stand up.
I had to stand up.
I had to take a chair.
Take the Cheetos off the lap,
I had to
okay?
dust all the Cheeto dust off of it.
I had to wash my hands.
Move my Mountain Dew.
I guess they're like, is it hot? Does it make you wet? It's like, no,
Oh,
it
it
doesn't.
doesn't.
And
Not
it's
at
not
all.
hot.
Or you sit there and you're like, yeah.
Hold
I'm
on.
definitely there. Wait, no, I'm sorry.
Our brains
Hold
don't
on, let me
think
get a
that
Mountain Dew.
same way.
Well, hold on, but it's the same for guys. Like, I mean, a guy has to ask
Oh,
himself
no.
this. No. As far as breast, no. Let me backtrack a little bit. I'm talking about dicks. Like, as far as guys go,
Oh, okay.
as far as a guy goes, like, I don't like the look of my own dick. Like, I get mad at it just seeing it on a daily basis. I don't want to see another guy's dick.
The
So you have to
angry
understand.
inch.
You have to understand. Well,
I'm just.
inch is pretty. Like, thank you for the
He's like,
compliment.
I wouldn't be so angry.
If it was an inch, I'd be.
No, there's that. Is it a music or
Yeah,
movie?
it's
The Angry
Hedwig
Inch?
and the Angry
Yes,
Inch. Yes,
that's
if
what I
you
was-
haven't seen that, that's a hilarious and great rock opera. It really is pretty fantastic. We're not gonna get too far into that one.
Is that a
now.
Harry
Can be-
Potter
We'll start
reference?
seeing it. Yes, no, it's not. Sorry. But
Hedwig.
you're a wizard, Harry. Now look at my angry inch.
That's where I was going.
But where's my train of thought now? Back to dicks. Okay, so
Dicks.
You don't like it either.
I don't like to look at my dick. I wouldn't want to see your dick. So
No.
you have to imagine if you don't like your own dick. Like, I mean, I think what is this? Porn has really screwed us over as guys. Like,
Yes,
you watch a
absolutely.
lot of porn, especially. Like, there's always that line, ooh, what a beautiful dick. I don't think there's ever been a woman that's ever like pulled a guy's pants down, unless she was like really like trying to get him going.
Yeah.
Like that's ever been like, oh, you have such a beautiful dick. Like, there's never.
That's all. That's
Yeah.
a lie, though.
They're just like, oh, it's a dick. Cool. Let's go ahead and do what we gotta do.
This is gonna be useful later.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
But right now I'm trying to eat, so can we just get back
Maybe
to my
not.
SpaghettiOs dinner that you got me?
There's a large percentage. I don't know if it was Korea or China, but I don't want to over exaggerate, but I'm
You
gonna.
have the computer. You always
I
use it to prove
could.
me wrong.
I could.
Like,
But it was something along the lines. I'll just go with 26% because that
Let's-
sounds good and it's not.
26
May
and a
have been
half.
higher,
Yes.
but like 26% of men ages whatever to 30 have no interest in being with women because they exclusively watch internet porn.
Actually,
Oh,
that's a
wow.
real thing. Actually,
Yeah.
that is
Oh,
a
wow.
real thing. Like,
Yeah.
porn, it really does. It messes with your psyche because then you get it's Pavlovian. You
Yeah, absolutely.
You get trained into
Conditioned
what you
to that
you get,
specific-
exactly. And then
Nobody
when-
really exists like that.
exactly. You can't
There's
get
no
that.
woman that makes all that noise every time she has sex.
I was-
She does it.
I was telling
Hold on,
him
now, I
the
don't want
same
her to make
thing.
all that noise. Like all that. What are you doing down there?
It's like the
What the hell
painful
kind of
noise.
porn
Like,
do you
no,
watch?
it's
Yeah. Like that big screaming thing they
Screaming.
do, and oh yes,
Cerberus and the-
whatever, and
the
no.
tombstone.
yeah, that's not what
Well,
happens.
Servers and the two stuff.
Now,
People
if we're really
are
drunk,
watching that for sex
if we're
ed. You're
really
like,
drunk, it
You're
might
mistaken.
happen.
Okay.
Well,
Because
and-
we might have actually passed out in the middle of doing this.
Oh God!
And then you're just choking at that point. Like, just gargling.
Drowning.
It's just-
Drowning in cock.
Oh my God!
So this is probably the most appropriate podcast we've ever done. See, I figured that you and I together would eventually get to the point where we did the worst podcast, imaginable.
Yeah.
But then we bring women on and they just really show us
And
up.
it's-
Like,
But
I forgot to ask.
that is on point though, because dicks are extremely present in nerd culture.
Yes.
What is
Even
the
all the
go-to
YouTubers.
insult?
It's all
YouTubers.
on the
Dick
YouTube.
All the day they always talk about dicks. Well, it's just a dick. Like it is so ever
Well,
present.
eat a
in
dick
it.
is a very common
Yeah.
idiom.
Bag of dicks.
Eat a bag
Eat
of
a
dicks.
bag
is my
of dicks.
favorite, actually. Like, or this is a bag
Why?
of dicks.
Because they're
or-
gross.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's the thing. Like, so if dicks are such a horrible thing, why are you gonna send that to a girl that you're interested in, like, and expect her to be like, "Oh my God, thank you." When you just finished telling your friend, "Hey, eat a bag of dicks," like.
Right. You need to get me to fall in love with you first, and then kind of apologetically reveal
And-
what you're working
And
with.
by the way,
Yeah.
here's my dick.
I'm so sorry, but remember how nice I am to you. Then I'd be like,
Yeah.
no, forget
Remember, I
it.
bought you that McDonald's that one time.
All
It's a
10
Happy
nuggets.
Meal.
Yeah.
So what you're
I let you
saying
get
is,
anything off the dollar menu. I mean, only $3 worth, but you can have anything. Like,
I
So
don't
what
like
you're
in the
saying is-
games with the scroll conversation. I mean, you can shut it off, but like where it gets to the point where they're just ragging on the female population.
oh yeah.
And it's like, what's the point? I don't know if it makes them feel better,
It does
They're
that.
bitter.
but it's like, go make me a sandwich.
Oh, God, that was the
Stay
biggest
in the
one.
kitchen where you
Mhm.
belong. Why? Where's that coming from? And
Bitterness. Because they
because
can't
some
get
gamer
laid.
girl got
Yeah.
really angry one time when somebody said that, and they were like, "Oh, now we have a thing."
They're like stereotypical female, always crazy.
But you know,
it's
the
like
men
no.
that I find that do that, those are the trolls. Those are the guys that live in their parents' basements, and they're
I love
just
the basement
angry.
dwellers.
I mean, if I had a basement, I live in my parents'
so-
attic. But
And what is this friend zone? That
Oh, I was
people
about to
always
bring that up.
Yeah.
That was one of my topics.
What is this friend zone?
Let's talk about the friend zone.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
first off, let me just say something, and I'm going to put it out there because this is what I hear a lot. I hear something about that such and such.
Mhm.
Put your, derogatory name for a female in. Totally friend zoned me, bro. Okay, first off, let's talk about this. You got friend zoned. Did you ever at any point in time think that you actually had a shot with said person? Like, was there any indication? Was she like, I really like you? Like, we should go.
He
We should
doesn't
go
need
hang
an
out.
indication.
Yeah, but she has a vagina.
Yeah, exactly. So she must automatically like me if she has a
There you go.
vagina. Like,
Right, she
why
possesses
wouldn't
that.
she like me? I mean, yeah, granted, I'm 300 pounds. I smell like rotten cheese, and
And that was
Doritos.
after 3 baths
Yes.
in a row.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Some people think eye contact and a smile is she wants to fuck me.
Oh, wait.
That's
Hold
not-
on.
yeah,
Whoa. Now you're blowing my mind. Wait, so you're saying
Some people
because
think that.
I got eye contact a lot since you guys have been here, and a couple smiles.
He thought he was like getting it,
I was like,
I've been staring at you the whole time.
Wait, what kind of party is this?
I was like, we're about to turn the microphones off.
So here's my issue with the entire concept of the friend zone, and I would ask each of your opinions on this. So, A, have you ever experienced a guy who felt that he was owed your affections because he felt that you friend zoned him? And B, at what point did anyone in the male social group lead him to believe that was an unacceptable behavior? I'm going to fast forward. The answer to that is going to be they didn't.
No.
Okay. So my next question, as a follow-up to that, and I hate organizing stuff like this because it's convoluted, should be, what should we do to fix it? So first,
And please,
friend zone.
Well, and please phrase your answers in the form of Jeopardy questions.
What is?
But alphabetically
I
by
guess.
fruits. Okay, sorry.
One experience that came to mind was I had a friend that we were always at the bar together.
Mhm.
We were watching this girl make a fool of herself, sleeping around, and we just had a commonality that we're like drinking, we're having a good time, and people are goofing off and doing silly things. It came to a house party, and he offered to clean up the house, and I was like, oh, okay, because all I have to do is clean up the house, and it's okay with my parents to have parties at my house. Well, he took out the trash and then said that I owed him a blowjob. I mean, he literally.
Wait, that wasn't the proper response? Oh.
Yeah. He was like,
Now
you
I'm starting to
owe me.
understand. Thank you guys for
You
coming.
all
owe
those
me.
looks you get.
I never agreed to such prostitution. Is that what it is? I was like, LOL.
Agreement.
Yeah, I was like, LOL, haha, no, LOL, in the text messages. And he didn't talk to me since.
Yeah.
Ever since that, because I didn't give him a blowjob for taking out the trash. I was like, I thought we were buddies, like drinking buddies, and
It's
I
like
never had that intention.
Yeah.
not to interrupt, but it's like a meme that I saw a while back where it was like the original meme was a woman about to give a man a blowjob while he's washing dishes, and it's like, if he washes dishes after dinner, you should reward him, And then the meme that took that meme and went with it,
accepted it.
yes, memeception, exactly, meme inside a meme, was basically to the effect of, so now we're going to reward men for doing their equal share of chores around the house by giving them blowjobs. That seems fair. So, But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you didn't. I was done with my story.
Oh, well, good. I'm
Next.
glad I interrupted.
No, I've experienced it. I know that it's very common in board gaming, and sometimes it's okay, to make a lot of the jokes like, oh, I'll trade my sheep for your wood, and then, oh, ha, 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 like, oh, your train's coming red on mine, and like, okay, it's funny, but to a certain extent, and, I've definitely been in situations where guys don't play to the best of their ability, and they're making the jokes the whole time. And then after the game's over and I get up, to go to a different table to play a different game, he wants to go with me and sit next to me and okay, we're going to keep this going. I had one guy played every single game that I played that night and then walked me out to my car, with air quotes, and then when we got out there, tried to make out with me, and I'm like, dude, you just told me all about your wife in there, I don't know what you think this is, but there's absolutely, they think that they grace you with their presence. They don't play as well as they should, and then
And I'll be the first to admit, I'm very guilty. I'm very guilty. I don't want to say it out loud, but I'm very guilty of that, that playful, jokey,
Well, and sometimes it's okay. I think you have to know your audience, and you can't be the first time you've met someone and I'm going to go balls to the wall with all the jokes.
Understand that Felt and I are not innocent in these things as well. We've had our fair share of, and it's learning. It's kind of a learning experience in some ways too. Okay, oh shit, that was too far. I get that. But I think the fact that we've learned from that, we really need to pass that on to other guys. Hey, listen,
that's not acceptable.
You can't go this far.
And to be fair, it's a little unfair because I know, I have this conversation with a friend of mine. He's like, well, when guys say that shit to you, tell them to shut the fuck up. Tell them they're a douchebag. Tell them, and it's like, well,
I want to get invited to the next game,
right? I have to be polite.
I have a follow-up to that after you're all done, because that's a very important point.
Mm-hmm. So of course I'm not going to tell you your
that's the only difference though in playing Xbox. Mm-hmm. It changes everything because there is no nice.
No, they're mean to everybody.
I have had, and it's the worst thing ever, and I probably should burn in hell forever for this. But
do tell.
I can't stand the prepubescent boys who get on there, and we're talking, 12, 13-ish, younger sometimes, and they want to get on there and like, fuck you, bitch, and you're like, what are you, 9?
Yeah. Go to bed.
Yes, I am.
I could be your cool older aunt. Come on.
No, the worst part is when they get on there and they're just riding and they're just saying things and suck my dick, and you're like, kid, your voice hasn't cracked yet. What the hell do you have?
Yeah.
And it just goes on, and then the bad meat comes out, and it's like you're in the in between lobby and you're like, do me a favor. And the kid's like, yeah. You got a coat hanger? Oh, yeah. All right, I need you to go get the coat hanger and your mom and bring them in your room. And he's like, why? Because we need to perform that abortion. We need to get on that. And the kids, of course, like, oh, I gotta go.
We need to go back in time.
I got a time traveler. I know a guy.
Why do you think that these lobbies are so ugly?
Because you can't see anybody. It's anonymous.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Did they learn to say "fuck you, bitch" from their parents? Where did they learn this?
When it comes to video gaming, especially the first-person shooters,
Mm-hmm.
Joe and I go way back in that field. I don't know all of your experiences, but when it was even mainly guys, it's always been a very brutal, very nasty realm. That's why when I played a lot, even now when I play with, everybody cut off. I play with no sound sometimes. I play with my headphones off just because I don't want to hear the bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, okay, I shot you 8 times in the face. Stop telling me the horrible things you
They
do to my
get so
mom.
angry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Learn to either get better at the game or learn to cope with this, and that's why I am drawn to board gaming.
Yeah.
Board gaming is a situation where we all have to sit at the table.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to try and get along. And if you talk shit about my mom, I'm right there.
Punch you in your face.
I can really punch you in the face.
I really enjoyed, because we're new. Joe and I are new to the board gaming, that we were able to face to face.
Did you guys have fun? By the way, I had Felton
people.
and his girlfriend Elise over. Did say that.
That's okay. Yeah, you introduced us. You were a good host.
And we played a bunch of board games. Which they hadn't played before. And had a good time just laughing, being inappropriate, goofing off and stuff like that. And nothing, even the sexual innuendos weren't bad, but it was because it was a place of respect.
Yeah.
It was my house. It was the way that I run things. And I think sometimes people are worried about having alpha gamers and things like that because those people take over a game. But you kind of need an alpha gamer in the party.
Yeah.
That kind of goes, okay, this is the acceptable rules for the group. We can joke about this, but you need to back off, at this. And you can't just, dick, or, eat my dick, or whatever the case may be. There has to be some couth. There has to be, okay, innuendos are fine, but if they get too far, relax.
How about eat my dick with Oreos?
Yes.
See, that would be a completely different sentiment, though. And the point, and you made the point exactly, is the culture behind gaming being mainly male-dominated. There has not been a large movement to say these certain things are unacceptable, and if you do these certain things, you will lose status in the community.
Exactly.
And falling back to your
great.
comment, I remember I had a girl once tell me, basically what happened was I was a young, 20-something young man douche, right? Out with bars, hanging out with friends. And,
that was actually your surname, right?
Yeah, it was Youngman Douche is what I went by at the time, and that was before I was Felton Huckblue. Yeah. So we're out at a bar, and I don't remember exactly the circumstance that came up to this, but it was, I said to her, well, you have a boyfriend, I don't want to buy you a drink, or something along those lines. And completely looked at me and go, well, wait a minute, my value just isn't of being your object, your girlfriend, whatever. And I think something like snapped in my head, and I was like, holy shit, you're absolutely right. Like, that was, I don't know, like an awakening or, an epiphany. And ever since then, I always had that memory. But that happened. It was socially unacceptable.
That was your Finn moment.
Yeah.
You
lose status, and you're a douche. And I think for so many guys in the gaming rooms and on the tables and in these places, they haven't had that moment. They haven't had somebody to call them out.
I myself have had that moment. I've had that moment a couple times because I've crossed a line.
He didn't learn the first
Slow
time.
learner, yeah.
I'm an inappropriate person to begin with,
Yeah.
So I have the filter sometimes is broken, and I've had that moment where I've been called out, and it's like, oh shit, like I went too far, or I said something that was just, that one step, further than I should go, and it was a learning experience for me, and I try to work at it. I mean, this isn't something that can be fixed overnight. I grew up as a nerd my entire life, and the nerd culture was a totally different story when I was a kid to where it is now. But even nowadays, the industry needs to do some checking of its own too. I mean, look at Overwatch, which is a game that you and I love to play.
Yes.
You love to play Overwatch as well. Yeah. So in that game, though, those characters are some of the females in there are sexual objects in a way. I mean, look at Diva. Look at the Widow. The Widowmaker.
Yep.
I mean, they're these tight costumes. They're jumping around, that kind of thing. It's like, I don't know where they can go from that, but like if you look at a lot of the male characters, you got like a giant gorilla and stuff like that. Like, why couldn't they do a female gorilla? Like, why couldn't there be?
Now, have you looked at Genji's backside?
Oh yeah, I'm
Because
not gonna lie.
I mean, come on,
I'm not gonna lie.
they do even it out.
It's made me question my sexuality a couple times.
Yeah.
But in the
I've
lore of the
just
game,
chased Genjis around just so I could watch and screenshot.
I've had the same experience where, I was like, look, I'm low on funds, but I really could use a friend. I would like to go out. I was like, do you mind covering the drinks? I have a job, I'm not using this guy. Yeah. He was like, why? You have a boyfriend. I'm not going to get anything out of you. I'm not buying you a drink. And this was all text message. And I was just like,
proper response.
I was just like, what? He would not buy me a drink because he knew he wasn't going to get laid. And I was like, I thought you were my friend. And I was like, oh, okay, friend. I was just like,
no. I was once told, it was actually some of my guildies in WoW, and we were having a conversation one night, and just shooting the shit, and I made a comment about how they were all my friends, and they're like, we're not your friends. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, men and women cannot be friends. They just can't do it. Like, if a dude is friends with one, it's because he wants to fuck her. I was like, no, that's not true. Like, and so I've applied it over the years, and evaluated some friendships that I thought were friendships, and when it comes down to it, no, almost none of them are.
Well, let me speak to this, because women and men are two totally different, beasts, and at least I can speak from the male point of view,
Are you sure?
Barely. We've already established this. No, again, thank you for the compliment. But, yeah, it's less than an angry inch. It's more like a really, really pissed off half an inch. So, from the male perspective, when it comes down to it, guys, unfortunately, and I know that women think about sex on a pretty regular basis too. Not, some women do, but guys, it's like a constant. It doesn't mean that we're thinking about actual sex, But there is that like, just kind of like the truck by the highway. You're sitting here, you hear the constant drone of what's going through your head normally, and then the semi truck goes by, and it's like sex, and it'll be like I'll be sitting here playing a board game, and we're having a good time, we're joking around, stuff like that, and it's like, I wonder if I could sleep with her. You know, and it's not like I'm thinking like actively like, oh my god, I'm gonna try to bang.
I have to bottle my
If I
entire
move
life
my
on
piece
this one
here,
objective.
and she moves her piece there, I'm totally gonna fuck her.
Totally gonna happen. So I can see why they would say that that guys and girls or men and women or possums and whatever can't be friends because they always want to bang them. But just because you may want to have a sexual encounter with a friend of yours does not mean that you can't be friends with them. Like it comes down to respect. You have to learn to respect that person, So just because I might think of you in a sexual way occasionally, you keep that shit to yourself. Like it doesn't have to be something that comes out. It doesn't have to be something that you share. It's just something you keep inside, And if you guys develop into more than just friends, that's fine. But it's not something that you can have female friends. I think I have now a decent amount of female friends that I do not try to have sex with.
Before I try to have sex with all of them.
At least 2. Well, 3. They're here in the room now. Anybody outside of here is screwed, though.
Literally.
So if you're listening to this podcast and we're friends,
this is what you should know.
But what I'm saying is, I mean, you can do that. Women are a different beast altogether. But women have to admit too that there's been times probably with some of their male friends, not all their male friends, where they thought, he's really attractive, or
or hey, the firefighters came in
yes.
last night. Oh my god,
those firefighters that came in last night were ridiculous. That guy's arms were just the size of my head.
They carry people out of burning buildings.
I was like, I almost fainted. I was just catch me. Oh, sorry.
So see, I'm about to make enemies, and I hate to do this. The one thing I will say about the gaming community, as far as females are concerned, is females tried to fit in so badly.
Some. You have to
There
put
was,
it. You have to
okay,
put it
I'll
this
say
way.
some. I'll say a lot. That they actually would put themselves out there like that.
Right.
Ooh, if we can talk on the mic, we can go into a private chat and we can do whatever you want in the private chat.
But the same can be said about so many interactions with guys. But that's because in our society, again, I would almost say, media male-dominated society. For a woman to fit in, she has to take on a certain persona. According to, I'm not saying that this is. I'm just saying that according to what they see every day in their life, like sex is so prevalent through everything. Look at these commercials for burgers where the woman's like half naked and it's just like
and
she's
dripping
biting
all
it.
over.
Hardee's.
Look
Look at what they did with Hardee's and what's her name, that model, and she's chowing down on the pulled pork burger. Like
It's like
that doesn't even look good for one thing.
How does that have anything to do with selling me food? Like, I'm a fat guy. Like, you don't have to add a sexy woman to it. Like, I'm going to buy your food. Just
I like
show
the
me-
burger.
My
show me
question
the
is,
burger, yeah.
tell me when I bite into it, I'm not going to get 8 chunks of cartilage and a rat head.
Yes.
And then maybe we'll talk.
Yeah.
But what's her name in the dress has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But I think the expectation, too, you have a lot of popular growing types of media like Twitch and YouTube,
Yes.
okay? And I think even more so now than
Snapchat,
before,
too, can even
the
fall
Snapchats,
in
yeah,
that category.
that these guys are getting in these chat rooms and they think, oh man, maybe I found one of these Twitch streamers or YouTube people that want to have this, online relationship, and they blow up this fantasy. And now, more than ever, like I said, the fantasy's there because these people are doing it. They're making money off of it.
It's the strip club mentality brought into,
Gaming.
into
And not to knock out any of them, but
The
there
strip clubs
has
or the gaming?
the strip clubs.
Okay.
But there have been quite a few of them that I've seen who actually came from that community and came over into the nerd culture.
Yeah, there's money to be made.
Yeah.
And
And it's easier.
Those
Yeah.
posers.
Yeah, right. They're posers.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there have been many times where I've, guys in games, online games, have found out that I'm female, and they want to give me all sorts of armor and want to buy me mounts and want to, give me all this shit. And I'll be like, yeah, I'll take it. There's gonna be a day when you're pissed
I'm
because
not
you
gonna lie.
realize you just blew, 100,000 gold.
But then you owe them a blowjob.
No, I don't know shit.
Wasn't that the
I
right?
owed them a learning lesson, and they got one.
Yeah.
But to that point, though, that is part of the game.
That's what they think in
That's
their
part
minds.
of the game.
Let me say, back in the day, back in the EverQuest or
Oh,
EverCrack
yeah.
days, I like to say, where before you had the microphone, when everybody was typing, I might have played a female character or two. I might have worked a couple fantasies here and there just so I could get a little
Did you
extra.
catfish people on EverQuest?
Oh,
Oh
I
my
remember.
god!
ASL.
Yeah.
Oh, oh my god, you're so funny.
Right, yeah. You just laugh at all the things they say. I'm like, oh my god. And dudes are like, sploosh.
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I if I were to go back and read some of my old EverQuest, like, messages as a guy, I might have been like, I mean, damn, what do you want? What do you need? Hold on a second. Let me get on eBay real quick and buy you a bunch of armor and.
Blonde hair. I have a green strip in it. I have blue eyes.
Yeah.
You're just describing what's on like your Entertainment Weekly magazine.
you have your Figma dolls
It's not
all
even a
lined up.
female. It's not even a female though. You're just like, yeah, I got a mohawk and really rocking the 6-pack.
Are you describing Angelina Jolie on the cover?
Yeah, exactly.
See, I noticed my husband will watch the Twitch every so often because it's on Xbox, and I was sitting behind him one day because the couch is in the middle of the living room, and I'm
He didn't
looking.
know.
No,
Hands down.
no, he was watching.
Time to blow a spot
and
up.
we actually both noticed at the same time. I'm like, the girl was just amazingly hot. I mean, she really was. And what she was wearing, I was like, that's not even comfortable. But anyway.
It was fruit roll. It was a fruit roll dress.
Right. So
Made of
I'm
fruit
watching, and she's talking about what she's doing, and I think she was playing Smite, and she's talking about how she's killing the characters and all. And I got to watching where her hands were, where the controller was, and I'm like,
No way.
the bitch ain't even playing.
No
She's
way.
not
Let me
even
ask you the
playing.
question though: how much of the screen was taken up by the game versus her?
Yeah.
Oh, well, a lot of it, yeah.
A lot of it was taken up by her.
By the screen, no,
Instead
by
of
the,
by the game.
Instead of the little
yeah,
profile.
it had her down here, but she was so well lit that you could see. I mean, you
Yeah.
could see how.
Are we talking Pootie Pie size, tiny in the corner? Are we talking because
Some
You're
of them
just trying to figure out how much you have to strain your eyes.
yeah? What,
You have to get to the monitor,
what's the name of this Twitch stream? No, because that's important because a lot of them do that. They have this massive oversight. Half the screen is them. And then a tiny little portion, they're playing solitaire and going, I'm a gamer. Watch me lick my controller.
Yeah.
It's like, what was the
Playing
one-
Xbox on my Nintendo controller.
They'll have donate here and they'll link their Amazon wish list of all the products they want, and people are buying them stuff.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? I need my Amazon account.
Yes.
What's wrong with me?
I was like,
I
man,
need
school
Amazon
doesn't work
accounts.
out. I'm just gonna go on YouTube.
I need to get
or
face
Twitch.
rig up and going because I
It's
keep saying
crazy.
face rig with that it matches your movements to a 3D character.
Oh,
I'm gonna get a
let's do
voice
this.
changer and face rig, and I'm
Let's
gonna be like,
do this. We can be on there together, like we can be like
Yeah.
little Japanese girls, like
"You're so funny." Oh, that's terrible. I'm not
I-
gonna do that. No.
Why is it that men think that if they buy a girl something, they win the affection or attention
or they should get something for doing that.
Wait,
Yeah.
But if we buy
that's
you
not-
something, it's just because we're cool.
Yeah.
I shouldn't get the blowjob.
Those ideas seem to be
I'm just
mutually
saying,
exclusive
it's
in our
fair. It's
culture.
fair. Let's bring it.
Hold on, wait. You guys are blowing my mind here. So first off, oh wait, I gotta make a.
This has been an education
I got-
for you. Holy cow!
I gotta stop a bunch of Amazon things real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. Hold on.
I shouldn't be buying these
Cancel,
Twitch streamers
cancel.
a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah. I thought I was at least gonna get a wink or something. Like, and not.
A thank you in the stream. Oh, thank you, Master Slayer XXX.
That's me, Master Slayer XXX.
Yeah. Finally.
My name was called.
But some of the
She
Twitch
loves me.
compilations I've seen are absolutely horrible. All right, you got the girl and taking up the huge amount of screen.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden it comes across, and some of them do it just to troll. They'll donate 15, 30, $100 just to go on there and say something nasty about them, and they egg it on. They react to it. But some will go on there. One guy dropped like $3,000 on one time,
Lord.
and apparently he was some like big Twitch person, and apparently that's like the goal is to be noticed by a Twitch senpai.
So you say 3,000.
That's pretty much all you need,
Isn't
I
that
guess.
crazy?
Where's this program for the 3D?
So
Yeah.
I have another thing that we need to hit on is when a guy really respects what a girl's doing, or is like, that is cool, or that was funny, marry me please, or marry me now, or like they're just like,
Yeah.
will you marry me?
Okay, not gonna lie.
Wow.
I said something stupid like that, like, where have you been my
What?
whole life?
Right.
Or like,
I'm not bothered by that though. Like
I think
that's
that is you're just trying to be.
As long as it's
Yeah.
not like
I mean, it is kind of
Dead-eye stare, like-
Yeah.
like trying to be
Like,
kind of sarcastic.
creepy as
Like, you had a
but-
funny joke, please
Yeah.
marry me. What?
well, I
No.
remember I told a guy and I was
Do
like,
you know what marriage is? Like,
well, I don't think they're being
That's a
literal.
lot of work. Like,
I would-
honestly.
I would-
that's a pretty solid financial obligation.
yes.
I mean, come on now.
I
Do you
take
know
it
what
as
a
a
mortgage is
compliment.
like?
I mean, because I told a guy one night we were talking and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to say this super dorky thing, and he's gonna think I'm so dumb. But I told him, I said, my favorite part of fireworks is that it's a very concrete, instant representation of the difference in the speed of sight, or the speed of light and the speed of sound. And I just think that's the most fascinating thing in the world. I don't really give a shit about the fireworks. I just like the difference. And he was like, oh my God, where have you been my whole life? And so that to me, it was like, oh, he doesn't think I'm, this super nerdy, dumb, like, what you spend your time thinking about what? So I was kind of flattered. I like that much more than, like, you got nice tits. Shut up.
Could this be an artifact of our culture? You gotta strike out these one-liners that you're using for people.
Holy.
I'm wondering.
This explains a lot.
I'm wondering, like, if this is an artifact of our culture, branching out, being more open, and people fulfilling so many different types of stereotypes. And when you find someone where you find validation in, that reaction is so huge now, because you have, you got goths, you got your cyber goths, and your I don't even know the different variations of style and goth there are. Industrial. Yeah. But just like, the various jocks. Yeah, I'm having a goth moment. But I mean, like, jocks and, like, all the different stereotypes one can fulfill.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, it goes hand in hand with the destruction of our culture in general. Through all these social medias and things, like, people can hide behind their phone, they can hide behind a keyboard, they can, they don't need to actually talk to somebody anymore and have a real interaction with them. So they can say some really effed up things, and then if they don't get the response that they want, they can either move on, or it'd just be even worse.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you find yourself, because now you're trying to communicate to somebody that, okay, we've been talking for a little while, or we've been gaming for a little while, and you seem really cool. I don't know how to tell you that you're really cool without coming off as a douchebag. Like, without coming off as like, oh my God, marry me, or oh my God, where have you been my whole life, or oh my God, nice tits, or whatever the case may be.
So wait, we jumped from you're really cool to nice tits. That's quite the leap. Why can't you're really cool suffice?
That's what I was gonna say. I think that a lot of people think that that's almost lame to say, but really, like, sometimes you should just be flat out like, hey, you're just really cool. Like, I really have enjoyed gaming with you. I really enjoyed talking to you. I really enjoyed that point that you made, or I really enjoyed that. The way that you shot that dude in the face, or then you teabagged him,
Right. Especially because we're so invalidated. Like, men assume, like, oh, she can't play. She's just here because she wants men's attention.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So when you acknowledge, like, dude, you got some skill, or you understand what's going on, like, you're not a total airhead. That's supremely flattering to me. Because you're acknowledging that I'm a human just like you are.
Exactly. And what's actually funny about that is my gaming style for board games is I act like an idiot when we're playing games. Like, I do it on purpose, though. Like, I didn't
realize that was an act. I thought that was just...
I saw right through you.
Extremely small penis.
I saw right through you during that Western game we were playing.
Did you?
I'm like, you bastard, I know what you're doing.
But that's brought up a good point about what about the other females that are there just to distract the girls.
God. I have one.
Yeah, they're literally bouncing off of your friends in a round, and they want to befriend you as well, and you just have no respect for someone that's bouncing around on dicks. Yeah. And of course the guys keep them around.
Oh yeah,
love them
because they give you that attention. Yeah,
and it's like I can't compete with that. I'm just playing,
but I'm not there to compete.
Yeah.
No, not competing that way, but competing with the games. Like
maybe in the board game community, we could label those as like cardboard whores or something like that.
Cardboard whores.
Where they just kind of they're there for the attention that they get because they're a female.
Yeah,
every guy's like, oh my God, come play with me.
They're there in every culture though. Like
I know.
Those women are at sporting events, and those women, and so I don't really fault them. I mean, I kind of feel bad for a woman who has no identity of her own, that she can't find a niche that she fits in, so she's gotta, go be super fake. And I tend to find that the groups of men that I play with, tend to not really be interested in having those, like hood rats, basically, gaming hood rats around.
Oh, I like it. I'm stealing it. I am stealing
for it.
Hood rats.
It's true, though. It's true. Like, if there is, like, well, at least for those of us that are actually like, really into, board game, or really into, like, we're really concentrated on actually playing the game. For those of us that are really, like, there for the, for the game, those kind of women are really obnoxious. Just like trolls, just like the males that get on there and they're just playing the game to be obnoxious and say horrible things. Like, that shit just annoys the crap out of me. You know, like you're not going to get the attention that you're looking for. Basically, you're going to get those sidetrack guys that are like, hey, so
This is not the attention you're looking for. I think there is something
come out
to be
to my
said.
truck.
So do the guys, do they get repercussions for bringing someone to that distracting, or
No,
do they all start
and that's the
talking about
problem.
her
That's the
and
problem.
how she was bending over the table that way, or something ridiculous like that?
That's the absolute problem. Is that the repercussions are usually negative for a female.
Right.
But not
it's
not
not
women.
Yeah,
He
it's
gets
not-
high fives because he's got this hot bitch that
Yeah.
will follow him around to board game
But
events
that's
or
that,
whatever.
and I don't mean to name drop, but there's a really
Oh, here we go.
smart sociologist.
Leave Chuck out of this.
No, I'm not talking about Chuck. Although he's a fantastic sociologist.
I feel like his health is really just getting
How
so
are
much
his
better.
hangnails? I need to know. There's a fella named Jackson Katz, and I absolutely love the guy. He genius, okay, and he advocates this method, and I've always tried to follow it. Once I saw this, I'm like, this is genius, and I think females need to start applying it. It's called the bystander approach. When you're hanging out with your bros, and your friend says something douchey, awful, or dumb, or makes a bad comment, you say, hey man, that's not cool. I have a wife, mother, or sister. You could be talking about one of them. That guy, again, loses status, and he learns not to do it again. Mm-hmm. Likewise, in the female aspect of it, if you're out in the community, and I know people do this anyway, but if you see another woman getting belittled or treated badly, call that guy out on it. Have someone call them out on it. Because this whole idea of invalidating, let's play that situation out. What would happen if you said something like that? Automatically you'd get labeled, oh, you're just being a bitch, blah, 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 whatever.
That's
It would be
exactly the
a
problem.
character assassination, an attempt to invalidate, to try to belittle you and make you less of a person, to ruin your point. There's multiple layers of crazy
Or they
abusive...
go right to oh, is it that time?
Yes.
Again, invalidation.
Yep.
And all of these things need to be shut down.
Oh, you're not getting enough, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all
We're
these
supposed
character
to be
assassination
nice
attempts.
and sweet and
Right.
polite and pretty.
Yes.
We're not allowed to have a voice and say, hey, that made me feel uncomfortable. We are so afraid to even say that because it's just worse just ignoring it and maybe it will go away than presenting it and saying, hey, you made me feel uncomfortable.
Maybe I am really a horrible person.
Yeah.
You are.
I love
You
when
are.
I get into a lobby with those guys,
Well,
and they're like,
you're
"Come in
also
the kitchen
in a
and, you know,
lobby.
for me." And
Yeah,
But you're
talking
also
about, like,
performing a public service,
At
too.
work, customer
So,
service.
I mean...
At work customer service, there is no voice for you.
Yeah,
To
it's
be like-
different when you're on a video game versus. I mean, I'll talk
Right.
some shit. For other people, I will go to bat,
Yeah.
and in a video game or on Vent, I will fucking cuss someone out and let them know exactly what their place is. But in person, for myself, I won't, like the night that the guys confronted me and asked if I was a gold digger and if I was just there to meet a guy, I smiled politely, I laughed at their joke, I finished my game, and I got up and I left.
Yep.
See, I still
Yep.
can't.
I would've
believe
done
the
like how you
audacity of
offered.
that, though.
Yeah.
Are you offering your money?
Yeah.
The audacity of because to go to a shop to play board games, God, I don't want to knock anybody that goes to
I've
shops to play
never
board
done
games. I go because I love to go to the shop and play board games. But there's a large majority of guys who go to shops and play board games who may be socially awkward
Absolutely.
already.
Yep.
So for them to already be kind of socially awkward and then try to push that social awkwardness onto another person, yet alone a female, that's like mind blowing to me. And granted, in my experiences, I haven't traveled all over the place, and I am a guy, so I don't get the same issues that that a female would have. But like the shop that I go to is the same shop that Tiffany goes to, and I've never really had that experience. I've never really even. I think maybe I've seen like a time where some dude was being really inappropriate, and like our group was just like, bro, just calm down, like relax, But I just could not imagine in a situation where it's a game that's bringing you to the table to sit down and have to cooperate and interact with other people in a way that you would just be so quick to belittle or I don't know, almost objectify
Right.
somebody else that's doing the same thing that you're doing. Like, but again, I am not innocent of doing this either. I mean, like I've had my fair share of stupid moments, and a lot of it comes from ignorance. A lot of it comes from a place of not knowing, you know,
Well-
maybe certain social cues. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses either,
Mhm.
but that's why there needs to be, in the nerd community at least, there needs to be like role models. There needs to be that kind of leader of the group or somebody that kind of goes, okay, listen, you know, you're not going to talk to a woman like that that's playing with us. You're not going to talk to anybody that's playing with us like that. And if you do want to talk to somebody like that, then you need to find another group to play with.
So there are certain shops that, like, since I'm new to tabletop gaming and I want to learn how to play, I can go into any shop and be like, can you teach me? Or will they be like, get out of here?
It depends.
You know?
It depends.
Okay.
If you go to get your fun on, and I'm not trying to name drop, it's just the one place that I know that you will go and not have any kind of issue.
Right.
Yeah.
If you went in to get your fun on and you walked into probably 75 to 80, that's maybe even low.
Yeah.
Percent of the people there and said, hey, I really would like to learn how to play.
Yeah.
You know,
No
Munchkins.
background, nothing.
Munchkins,
I
something.
know
Well,
of it.
They might give you crap. They might give you crap because it's Munchkins.
Yeah, the Munchkins are
But-
shit game, but
It's the only cool game that we have is Munchkin.
I still love Munchkin.
Yeah.
We can play Munchkin all day. That's
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you went into that shop particularly, then I would be surprised if your experience was bad, and if it was bad, I would be surprised if somebody didn't correct the behavior immediately, or if you were to pass that experience on, somebody else wouldn't step in and be like, "Oh, who did that? Who said that?" You know, something needs to be done about it. But there are other shops out there where it's
Laissez-faire?
yeah, I guess.
well, yeah. I mean, the event that I went to that where they asked me if I was a gold digger. I mean, it was a meetup group, so like they're actively trying to recruit people to come to their game night and grow their night, and nobody said a word. The guy that owned the place that we were at didn't say a word.
Have you been back since?
Oh no, hell no! I left the meetup group, and I put in when I left that they needed to teach their members social skills, because I wasn't going to go and be insulted.
Well, you know, it might have been the first time the guys were out of the basement.
It's possible.
just saying,
That's not a good
you know?
excuse for me.
I mean, it's really not though. Like, you still have to interact with people in a society.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't just go to the movies and just because I might be socially awkward, it's still not acceptable for me to be like, "Oh, you're watching this movie? I mean, you're a girl. You're not.
Right.
Are you gonna get this movie?" Like, it's still not socially acceptable. Still not.
But I want to state for the record, though, like, personally, I like socially awkward guys. I'm a socially awkward girl, so I prefer a guy that isn't super, like, cool and suave, because I'm like, how do you do that? I don't fucking know. I'm awkward all the time. So I don't mind a guy who's just awkward, you know, and he might not say all the right things, and he might just be weird about when he's trying to finally work up the nerve to hit on me or whatever, but that isn't in and of itself the problem. The problem is when you have guys that have no respect.
Yes.
And that's where the problem is. Because a guy that says, you know, oh, wow, I'm surprised you know how to play this game. If he's saying it because he's actually surprised, then I'm like, no, this is an opportunity for me to teach you. But
I just remembered something, just that specific comment. I don't mean to interrupt.
no, it's okay. But, you know, the guy that's like, oh, you play board games or Monopoly? You know, like, that is disrespectful. And so it comes a lot with what their intent is and how they view me. Am I a person or am I a tits?
As a guy, I still get offended if somebody says, "Oh, you play board games, Monopoly." Like, you know what? I'll flip this table on all of you. Put Monopoly on the table. See what happens. I'll burn this whole building down.
And I do think there's an important point there. The socially awkward guys, they don't have any skills. So what are they on 90% of the time? 99% of the time, even the internet. Number of years back, a lot of these, I don't even know what the hell to call them, like dating tips for guys. Like they would come out with
Are
these
you talking about
lists.
like the shows they had on MTV and stuff like that with the peacocking and stuff like that?
Not so much the shows on
Oh, the
MTV,
negs?
but
The
there's
negs?
like supposed researched and developed books that you can get.
Right.
You
And
probably suck at
exactly
this game.
Exact stuff like this where they teach you how to make backhanded compliments
Yes.
and insults
Oh,
and this
Negs.
shit.
It's called
Pisses me
negs.
off.
It's called negging. It's
Yeah,
where you
okay,
go-
there you go.
It's where you go. It was like oh, you have really fat elbows. But you know what? I like fat elbows. You know, like something
Yeah.
like that where you say something negative about somebody, but then you follow it up with, "But I like that." You know?
Yeah.
A new thing that I've heard about, because I online dated for years, and so now whenever people see funny or hilarious things that happen on online dating, they send it to me. One recently is where you insult the girl so that she feels the need, like, oh, I bet you give the worst blowjob. So that she's like, oh no, I'll show you how good
Yeah,
I can give.
exactly.
Like, who the fuck does that work on?
Yeah.
Hold
Like-
on a second. Hold on a second.
Strike that one out because
No,
that one.
I'm writing this one down.
Oh, okay. But these
you give
programs
the
these guys
worst-
buy. They
Yeah.
buy these books. They buy these videos.
Yeah.
Like this is a product, and I think, I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating, but I think that.
You do a lot of exaggeration.
Yeah.
Actually.
But I think that might be a contributing factor. And as a matter of fact, we know mutually a couple of people who.
Leave Chuck out of this. I swear
I'm
to
not
God.
talking about Chuck. But yeah, how are his intestines?
Oh my God.
But no, I've known of a few people who have actually bought these books and actually have tried
Oh,
these
you'll have
methods.
to tell me. You'll have to
But
tell
I
me
have
off air.
to-
But
Oh,
I
I
bet I
will.
can guess at least.
You
two
already,
of them.
you are well. The first name that you popped to your head. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I have to wonder how many females have actually helped this along as well.
Well, that's something that I was pointing out. I was talking to a woman recently about that, and it's like, imagine this. You know, it's that whole ask 100 people thing.
Hmm.
If you ask 100 women to have sex with you, the percentage is in your favor that one of these women is going to say yes. If you ask 100
I've had
women,
multiple men
have
tell
sex
me
with
that's their strategy.
exactly
Is
So-
numbers.
So you go exactly. You
standards
go on
are.
you go on this dating site where, I mean, it doesn't matter what you say or do because you're just behind a keyboard, you know,
Right.
and you say, hey, nice tits. Ah, go fuck yourself. Hey, nice tits. Ah, I got my. Hey, nice tits. Oh, thank you. Boom. Like,
Exactly.
now- now-
That's it. It's the people that are like encouraging that behavior.
So it's the
I can
the
have
slowest
no
of the
makeup,
herd
dressed-
mentality is
Yeah,
what it is.
it's exactly
anonymously
what it is,
yeah.
and still get people
Which-
making
Pick off the
lewd
weak.
comments.
Pick off the
Right.
weak. The disease. The slow. The ones that the ones that
We'll
that
say
need that
we'll say
validation.
willing. Let's just say willing.
I don't know. I like mine now.
The weak and diseased. All right. Well.
Why can't we teach
Hold on a
men
second, let me write this down.
to
Alright.
say instead of you're beautiful or you're hot or wow,
So
did you
why
work
can't
out?
we
one
teach
day
men to say,
wow, that was really clever. Oh, you're very smart. You know, like
or
why
how was
can't-
your childhood growing up?
yeah,
How was
like,
your
why can't they
relationship
just
with your
talk
parents?
to us?
Asking actually
And if they want to
validating
compliment
questions.
us, it
What
be
is
genuine, not disrespectful.
What is your feelings on string theory as it relates to the fact that in another universe, another existence somewhere, you might be Batman? Like that is that?
Yeah,
I feel like-
exactly.
I am Batman.
Oh well, there you go.
Oh.
See?
I've
Solve that
had
mystery.
everyone say beautiful, 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 beautiful all the time.
Well, it's cheap.
I'm like, it's cheapened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not genuine. Like
Take-
I like
my
the
name's
fact
not
you
beautiful.
got that in there 100
Hold on,
times.
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
My
I
name
do.
is not
Strike
beautiful.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
use that in
I
it.
don't
It's
have
so
any hard
cheesy
rules.
now.
I don't know. I have
Oh.
to give my boyfriend some credit because he tells me I'm beautiful probably 50 times
Well,
a day.
Well, but you guys are in a
Boyfriend's
relationship
different.
too.
Yeah,
Is
that's-
that how-
well,
is that
I
how it
guess
started
I'm talking
off?
about
Like,
strangers on the street coming up to you and be
I guess
like,
that's fair.
"Hey, beautiful,
I was a little skeezed
nice
out
ass."
when because I post YouTube videos. They're just like bullshit me playing the ukulele and singing videos, and he would comment before, like, we had met online, and he was like, hey, do you think we could actually like do this? And I was like, no. Because you live like 2.5 hours away, so that's not happening. Also, you don't really like kids, and I have a kid. So we were just like, okay, we're gonna be friends. I friend zoned him. That's what he told me later. I friend zoned him. So he never thought he was crawling out of that pit. But we stayed friends. He would just message me every once in a while, or I would message him, hey, how you doing, whatever. Share our hilarious, horrible online dating stories. And he would post on my YouTube videos, hey, beautiful, how you been? You know, blah, blah, blah. I hated it. I was like, why are you, like, what do you want? I had another friend who would call me love. And I was like,
Honey.
you don't fucking know me. Don't call me love.
Love,
And that
honey,
shit-
sugar.
Yeah.
Baby,
So that's
I
true.
am not
Baby.
your
Oh
my
significant
God, you
other.
just had to strike out everything out of that book.
So if you don't know my name yet, don't. Pick
I
a
had one
substitute.
guy come up to me. He's like, "You look tired," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm having a really bad day." I thought he was like a regular, regular person that sees me.
Not a normal
And I'm
human.
like,
No.
"Oh, like somebody
Oh,
cares." I
this
was having the
strange.
shittiest day ever, and I was like, "Thank you for caring." And he was like, "Yeah, it's because of last night, wasn't it, hun?" And I was just immediately was like, "I'm out."
You should have been like, yeah, my
Fuck
boyfriend
no,
rocked my
this-
world.
like-
That's when you go, yes, you're right, Bob. My battery-operated boyfriend. It's just on cue
But
last
see,
night.
when you're in a company where you have no voice,
Yeah.
you're
Right.
not
I
your
do myself.
repercussions of losing your job if you.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm guilty of the love thing. Like, and it's not. See, for me, I say love to people like in person too, though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like. It's not like just online, but
Hey,
I
love.
get
Hey,
I get that
darling.
though. I don't say darling. I don't say babe.
Hi,
I don't say
sweetie.
sweetie. I don't say I'll say gorgeous. I don't
Gorgeous,
think,
yeah.
but for some
How you doing today?
These are all things you've called me. What are you lying for?
but love, I don't know why love. Is one
I
of those
think
things
that
I
would
can't
be
get rid of.
catcalling to me.
I think I get that. I get that. Maybe in another life I was some kind of diner waitress or something. But in England.
Right, I was gonna say wrong country. Yeah.
But in England, and it's like, what can I get you though? You know, like maybe that's. You know,
Boy, top of the morning to you. Would you like that with your potatoes? Like,
I said
So
England,
he's in
but-
England and you're in Scotland.
I
Okay.
just want to be Irish.
That was Ireland, wasn't it?
Oh, I flipped
Oh my
I just want to be Irish.
He is Scottish.
Similarity.
Are you Scottish?
Oh yeah, tell that
Swedish.
to the
Swedish.
Scottish.
Like the fish. Like the
You guys are
fish.
similar.
I hope my feet
So-
are clean.
Okay, so obviously, see now, actually, that's one that I need to obviously, curb. But that's something that
Yeah.
I do to. I've done that like my entire life.
Okay, we'll
You
stop.
know? Huh?
I said we'll stop. But that's the hard
I
part.
will stop tomorrow.
It
Yeah,
works. It
it-
works when you
Maybe.
learn. I told one guy, I said, look, I don't like being called beautiful. The next time I saw him, totally forgot the conversation. He was like, hey, Smarty. And I was like, that felt great, being called hey, Smarty.
Really?
Write that down.
I
Yes.
Use it.
Hey,
Whoa.
Smarty.
Hey,
Make sure
Smarty.
she's not dumb, because then she'll just feel insulted.
Now there's extra rules to this.
If A.
Wait, what if she's really
But-
dumb?
I
Well,
had never
hold
been
on.
complimented
But hold
on
on.
my
Yes.
before.
Playing the numbers. If you call 100 girls smarty, then at least one of them
Dude,
is
you
going
need to do a
apply.
study. Like, if I call these girls different things, this is the most productive in getting me laid. That's what I think you need to do.
There you go.
All right.
You just
You now
applied the
have something to
scientific
do.
methods to catcalling.
Right.
Like, holy crap.
Is the goal for a
We just
relationship
broke-
or just a
We have
one-night
just broke the
stand?
matrix.
Oh my god.
No, I think the goal is just to get him laid at this
okay.
point. We'll work on a relationship later,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't realize that was the goal. I mean, I'm not,
Yeah, I was like,
Sure.
you
If
never
that's the-
announced anything.
Jesus.
Well, that's what this apparently
we
evolved
need to have
into.
more females on the podcast.
I know. Oh my god.
Matter of fact, we should just leave the podcast just listen to what they tell us.
Yeah.
I think people
Record it
put us
and
up
play it
so
back.
high and unreachable when we're really the only difference between us is our reproductive organs.
Well, isn't it strange
Yeah.
how women are either way up here and like I can't talk to them and you're like, oh my gosh, or they're objects and they have like there's
Right, right.
medium.
And the transition between the two can be instantaneous
absolutely.
based
Yeah.
upon one's
The
opinion.
minute she has an opinion.
As soon as
Yeah.
she does something that that the
Mhm.
male community doesn't
As
like,
soon as
it's
you come
over.
out as being
Yep.
badass, you're like,
Oh,
well,
Yeah.
this
Oh, yeah.
this lady isn't
Can't
just gonna.
I just
just
be
sit
an
and
equal
accept
to
Right.
you?
Right.
It's like
The only thing that
awesome as
happened
long
is
as
that
my
I can
mouth
produce a
doesn't
child
actually engage
Exactly.
into the
They
smart
can-
ass
They
that
put
comes out.
Dusty on a pedestal. That's what they
Yeah. As long as I just come out and go, oh my god, you shot that guy, that was great. Yeah, as long as that's me and not,
Right.
dude, I don't care what you
Get good scrub and then.
do. Like,
You know, my
Let's
whole
go
thing is if
waffle
you don't
stomp
move
these
out of my
bitches.
way, I'm gonna shoot you in the
like,
back.
yeah, spray and pray works for everybody, buddy.
Let's go waffle stomp some noobs. Like, was that a woman?
Holy shit! I'm kind of scared. Like,
I'm scared. I have the weirdest boner
was
right now.
that Terry Crews? Like, oh my god.
Oh,
And a
man.
lot of female gamers now that I've noticed, especially on the game systems, they're using it like eHarmony.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm very sorry, but I swear to God they think it's eHarmony because I have a lot of males that I game with, and I game with all of them on a regular basis. I know their wives, I know their families, I have their phone numbers. You know, we are actual friends,
Yeah.
and you'll get these. I call them gamer sluts because it's just the nicest way I can talk about them.
Yeah.
And the trolls will come in and and I hate to do it this way. Don't look at me while I do it. Oh my god, it's like, can you teach me how to do this? Because I don't even know how to shoot a gun. And I just bought this game for something to do. And I'm like, get out.
Yeah.
Get out now.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
spend the entire game annihilating you.
Yeah.
You are the target.
That's like
Target
me
and
and May. What is it?
You hate May.
Hold
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
I love May. May's my
Yeah.
character. I will rock May all
But
day
that's,
long.
I mean, that's what she reminds me of is
Oh.
she is annihilated first. Fuck that bitch.
Well, you almost have to, because she drops that fucking ultimate every 2 seconds. Within 30 seconds at the beginning of the last round I played, she dropped her ult, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Fucking cheating! Sorry, that
it's
was last
not
night.
her
That
fault that noobs can't get out of the way of her freezing ray or her
it
icicle.
pissed me off because I hadn't even. So I proceeded. I backdoored him, and oh man.
But that's,
Yeah.
that's them making a character to appease.
And I get that, and I kind of feel almost like
That's the easiest cosplay ever.
This will give me some heat too, but I feel, and this is just my personal opinion, the diva is the same way. You know, like I feel that diva is kind of like playing into that, you know, that almost, you know, like except for the fact that her backstory is that she's like the most elite gamer, you know.
Well, like a savage warrior, like
But it's still like it seems kind of like, you know, like
all of her little phrases is exactly what the Twitch community,
but then
what
the
Twitch community wants a gamer girl to be.
Yeah.
That's what they want a gamer girl to be.
Although I do love spamming when I'm running around.
Oh yeah,
that's fun.
But isn't
like
in some
for
ways,
the sky.
in some ways, I hate to be, I keep being the devil's advocate tonight. I really am going to get hurt over this. But isn't it some way that the way the character,
there's only 5 people to listen.
can actually be how the female wishes they were.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, a real badass. You know, somebody who looks awesome in, you know, nothing but a sports bra and underwear.
Well, that's why there was such a reaction to Tracer, I think, with the butt pose. Yeah. Because they're like, Tracer isn't a sexualized character. Why are you having her butt show off? Mm-hmm. You know. So that's why purposefully with McCree, I have the over the shoulder look because I'm like, there you go, let's do that again because it's the complete polar opposite.
Again, I think a lot of companies need to change the way they do things. You know, look at the armor in most video games. Still, the armor in most video games, that if it's full, you know, plate mail for a male character, I mean, you can't see shit. Like
he's easier to cosplay male characters.
He's just completely
straight up Reinhardt.
But then a female, it's like this little tiny bikini, you know, made out of like 2 little like teeny tiny shields.
To cosplay any female character, you have to go on a diet. Yeah. What? Yeah. Like, it's just not. Crack, it's not real.
Yeah. And for the women that do cosplay non-sexualized characters, they. Like, that's what I hate about cosplay, is men are like, oh, I appreciate cosplay. I appreciate the work she put into her costume, blah, blah, blah. Like, then why are you only appreciating the women with huge tits that are hanging out in tiny waists?
It's now so mainstream that there are real models that are like the 00 that are dressing up in a costume for them, not
but
cosplaying.
you look at the ones
and making money off of us.
You look at the ones
us gamers.
I'm fine with. I mean, like, you know what? If someone can find a way to make money, by all means,
vending booth.
But you know, like, you do you. If I could make money off of being skinny, I would fucking do it. I'm not skinny, so I will never make that money. But I just don't understand, if we appreciate cosplay so much and the effort that's put into the costumes, why don't we appreciate plus-size cosplayers? Why don't we appreciate women who don't wear sexualized costumes and wear, you know, conservative costumes because it's a cool fucking costume? Mm-hmm. You know, that's what I don't understand, because we want to hide under the guise of appreciating cosplay.
Well, let me chime in on that, because actually there is a movement with cosplay where, you know, females are doing a lot more male characters. They're doing a lot more unsexual, you know, characters. There's a lot more of that coming out, or there's more plus size women doing.
Right, I've definitely seen more
doing the typical, you know, like extremely skinny, you know, overly sexual characters. I think that there's been a big movement with accepting that kind of cosplay over over sexualized cosplay. There's been a lot more that I've seen where they're doing a lot more hashtags of it. There's a lot more. Two?
Well, I'm saying two things have happened.
Yeah.
Is the cosplay the cosplaying against bullying has come out as a real big movement.
Yes.
And that's come from actually people speaking out at conventions about being harassed,
women speaking
assaulted, battered. You know, guys grabbing up on them, and it's become again one of these situations where it's not acceptable to be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't go touching somebody. That's a crime. It's called battery. It's against the law.
You're walking through the crowds and all of a sudden someone's twiddling your lips and you're like, what the fuck? Where are you? I'm going to kill you. Yeah. Like, it's inappropriate.
It's it's one of those things that I think Will Wheaton's rule for gaming should apply to all of nerddom in general. Don't be a dick. It's that simple. But just don't be a dick. You know. And if you find that you like you know, sexy, you know, cosplays and stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with liking Jessica Negri.
But don't go around, like she's saying, don't go around, you know, saying I appreciate cosplay, but all you're looking at is the
zero.
You know, sexual stuff. You know, like I
just feel like I like sexy women, because then I'd be like, hey, I do too.
Everybody does.
I like sexy women in costumes. That's another thing. I was kind of guilty of that at first, you know, and then I got really into the cosplay thing. You know, I really started I want to start making my own cosplays, you know. But I've started helping people with cosplays, designing cosplays, doing that kind of thing, and I've gotten really into like the armor and this and that, and the other thing about cosplay that has nothing to do with a woman's body in general. It just has to do with the actual building of
Artistry.
the cosplay. Yeah. So, but I will say that maybe at first, I was like, oh yeah, I really like cosplay, but like maybe
Then Jessica Negri pops in your mind, and
but
you're thinking
yeah, like
Pokemon
maybe subconsciously it was like, no, I just like sexy women in costumes from shit that I enjoy, from like my comic books and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it did take somebody actually, I'm just gonna call it. It took Tiffany actually calling me out one day and being like, yeah, but it seems like you're only liking these like overly sexual characters. Like, oh no, I like cosplay, and then I had to sit back and think. I'm like, oh shit, no, I just like sexy women in slinky outfits, just like characters
Which
that I
you're
like.
a man, that's okay.
It is okay, but if I'm going to be on the stance of, okay, I really like cosplay, like I'm like really into cosplay, I need to actually be really into cosplay. I need to start watching YouTube videos. I need to learn about cosplay. I need to learn about the actual models. I need to look at male cosplayers. Like I've never looked at male.
See,
cosplayers.
that's the difficulty, though. That's the difficulty.
Looking at male cosplayers,
because
I'm
guys
worried
are
about,
gross
worried
looking.
about it. Yeah, penis slip.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I've actually
like
consciously.
a nipple slip, I can live with.
Not only that, it's harder. I say it's harder to find male cosplayers to follow because the vast majority of likes and what propagates on Facebook's algorithm is female.
Sexy female
You have cosplayers.
But that means you have to search out. You have to make the active choice to say, okay, I love sexy women in costumes, but if I'm going to say that I like cosplay, I need to find the actual artists that are going out and really doing it. And when I went to MegaCon, I sat in on a couple of cosplay panels, and it really blew my mind. There were these women there that were, there were some of them that were really beautiful, and there's some of them that were, not really beautiful, and then there were some of them that were in between, but they were all up on there, and they were all on the same level because their actual artistry was phenomenal. There's a woman who, I don't find her attractive, and that's not, it's just nothing against her, I just don't find her attractive, but she makes the most beautiful dresses that are all like themed with a certain, like nerdy thing. She did a whole series of I think 20 Pokemon costumes that were like dresses, like full on, like she gets wedding dresses and she alters the wedding dresses to become these beautiful, like full gowns. I really wish I could remember her name. I feel really bad about it, but she
the Pokemon dress lady.
There you go.
Yeah.
But she made these fantastic dresses that were just amazing. Like her artistry was just phenomenal, and that was like another turning point for me. I was like, my God, look at the detail that she put into this, the time and the effort, and forget the looks, look at the actual
craftsmanship.
The craftsmanship,
Right.
yes. And there was a few of them that were up there, and I was able to go up and talk to them, and they were all so personable, and they were all just like, oh yeah, I did this, I did that, and blah blah blah, and it's just. It blew my mind to see that kind of cosplaying, because then you go to the booth girls, as we'll call them, quote unquote, and it's all about, yeah, you can take my picture.
See my Diva bodysuit that I bought from Nathan DeLuca.
That's not her.
Okay.
That's actually a different woman, but those are beautiful.
Listen.
That's a totally. Tiffany is showing us pictures of a cosplayer. Who's the cosplayer?
Oh, I don't know. I
Okay.
just googled Pokemon gown.
But I don't think she's that big yet.
So we don't want to go.
We're coming up
Gotcha.
on the first try. But again, it's because that's a good-looking woman, and she's doing the Pokemon gown thing. So again, it comes back to that, the issue of, you have to search harder for.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Is it's a shame that some of these cosplayers that I've been following, like one absolutely talented, made the best crossplay of Gordon Freeman, his HEV suit. It's Raining Neon,
Yes.
right? Oh my God, amazing abilities. But she's not as popular as some of the other ones, like Jessica Negri, or actually maybe she is now at this point because she's become wildly popular. Yaya, example. And that's the shame, because these clickbaity type of images that you can get on Facebook for boobs, click.
Yeah.
You're missing out on Termina. You're missing out on Nathan DeLuca, who. He's pretty much cornered the market on bodysuits at this point. He makes all these prints now for people, and it's insane.
Speaking of cosplay, Joe and I have tickets to Dragon Con, and we need to recruit more people to come with us, and we need a hotel.
What is this?
It's
Next
Are you
August.
advertising this on the podcast?
Yeah, we
the
need
5 people that listen.
Who wants to go to Dragon Con with us? Woo!
We need a van, we need a hotel, and we need more bodies.
Your expenses paid trip, which means you pay all the
You
expenses.
pay your own expenses.
You pay your own expenses.
I'm down for that.
It'll be cheaper
with
the
us.
more people that come.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
maybe we should try and do that, and maybe find some way to maybe record some podcast stuff while we're there.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
This mythical laptop with all these microphones that
Exactly.
we have to put together.
So
Well,
yeah.
we can just record it on our phones.
Yeah.
That quality will
We
be
need to
fantastic.
go. We
Yeah.
missed it last year, and
I had major post and pre Dragon Con depression
I have
this
to
year.
see where it falls with my Dice Tower funds.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'd
the way my life is set up.
It's around Dice Tower. Yep, it's going on sale soon.
Yes,
November
I know.
15th, so
I know.
Be ready.
I think, unless somebody has another valid point that we should point out, I think we've gone pretty long on this one this time.
Yeah, I let it ride for a little bit.
I think we need to wrap it up
Exclusive
this time.
episode.
I would really love to thank our guests for coming today and really enlightening me, especially on
Whole
the
new set of
douchebaggery-
techniques that
yes,
you have now.
on the douchebaggery that I was exhibiting for most of my life.
You didn't even know.
Please,
My chair,
basically,
please.
let's all try to live by Will Wheaton's rule of gaming. Just don't be a dick if you can help it. And if somebody calls you out on something that you didn't even realize was offensive, take a step back and be like, maybe that was offensive. Like, don't go straight to, oh, you're just a bitch or you're just an asshole or
Take
You're
the
on the time of the
criticism
month.
and say thank you.
So from us here at the Nub, I'm the Merce,
This is Felton.
Laura.
Tiffany.
Elise.
and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.